is long. Politicians have a long memory, and this is something that the ex-Prime Minister knows about.
Correspondent Pierre Clochentler updating us live from Bnei Brak. From opposition leader Benjamin Netanyahu, we go straight to Benny Gantz, Defense Minister. Let's hear what he has to say right now.
Citizens of Israel.
אני מבקש להשתתף בצער המשפחות של הנרצחים בפיגועים האחרונים, לאחל רפואה שלמה לפצועים בגוף
wish swift recovery to those who were wounded. Israel is facing a murderous terror attack. Similar to the past, those who trigger terror will find themselves facing very determined, trained security forces. They will find facing them resilient citizens. The state of Israel has experienced in the past many waves of terror, and this time too we shall win. We're taking both offensive and defensive measures on the operational level. The IDF, led by the Chief of Staff, is orchestrating an intelligence effort, and soldiers will be positioned wherever there's a threat. This is not starting now. Those operations were underway for a while, and dozens of attacks have been thwarted already. Additionally, police will be reinforced. This morning I also signed arrest warrants to Israeli citizens who are suspected of being involved in terror, and these will not be the last. If needed, we will immediately recruit reservists that will flood the streets alongside police officers and will operate wherever they are needed, wherever an operational activity is needed. We have a determined, great defensive forces. We have brave policemen. We have capable Shin Bet, Internal Security Agency officers. We have security personnel from the best around the world. All means will be exhausted and pursued. Everything that is needed will be taken, will be recruited to this effort, and we will end this terror wave. We will act according to the security needs in the short term and long term. Citizens of Israel, the security forces are spread around the country in order to reinforce security and also to reinforce the sense of security. Alongside the operational level, we shall work together, not hysterically, but very much vigorously. We must bear in mind that the terrorists, they want to create terror and fear. They want to divide us. In this resilience, this test of resilience, the Israeli society shall win. At last, I asked all Israeli citizens to continue their life routine while adhering to the guidelines of the security forces, and bear in mind that those despicable murderers want to create chaos and fear, and we shall protect the Israeli society and Israeli security.
שר הביטחון בני גנץ, שאלה מענבר טוויטר 12. כן, האם יכול להיות שאולי טעיתם?
Is it possible that you took unnecessary risks in taking care of the issue of illegal workers from Palestinian territories? I believe the state of Israel faces great challenges on all fronts, and we take these challenges from place to place, from one arena to the other, from one front to the other, the border with Egypt, the northern border, following what we did in the Golan Heights border. We shall reinforce the activities along the 1967 borders, and indeed the last terrorist apparently crossed from the West Bank, and we shall work to make sure this border is sealed. Question, Defense Minister, are you thinking about holding back aid to Gaza and the Palestinian Authority? The houses of terrorists in the West Bank, the issue of demolition is a legal one, and we will work according to the law in this respect of demolishing terrorist houses in the West Bank. We will continue to work as much as possible in a focused manner on the terrorists, the perpetrators themselves, and their families. And we were able in the past to make a distinction between the overall population and the terrorists and their families. And we managed to do it in the past, and this is what we seek to do this time around as well. Question, sir. We're talking about how the security forces is handling the malfunction that we're talking about terrorists that were known to the establishment. They spent time in jail in the past. Every time there's friction with the enemy, something will slip through. I am not arguing with the fact that indeed the terrorists of the recent attacks are ones with security-related past, and we were unable to catch them on time. But at the same time, dozens and hundreds of people were arrested. So we know how to operate. We need to get better all the time and to make sure that there will be as little events such as possible, but we will manage to thwart many. Question, will there be any restrictions on the operations of police? There's a great communication line between the different law enforcement and security establishments. The police is communicating with the IDF on an ordinary basis, and the communication line is going well. The aim is that the police forces, that soldiers rather, will aid the police. They're not here to be policemen, but they will provide the needed reinforcement to police activity. Question, Defense Minister. A question on the measures ahead of the Ramadan month, and also what about the coordination with the Palestinian Authority security mechanism? We will continue the cooperation with the Palestinian Authority on all its levels, and it was also important that the Palestinian president condemned those terror attacks. This is very important. We will continue to maintain the coordination. Wherever we can facilitate the joy of the Ramadan holiday, we will, but wherever that we will find ourselves prioritizing security consideration, we will prioritize security considerations. The Ramadan holiday is supposed to be a holiday of peace, of family. People should be able to celebrate it with themselves, with their family, and not carry out terror attacks, and let's hope that this will be the case.